A disturbing video allegedly showing a local teacher belittling students and insulting parents. It is now sparking an investigation.
Adam, this really has parents fuming.
Alan, the comments are so disturbing, we have chosen not to broadcast them on television. Monday got off to an unusual start for students and staff at Tucker High School in DeKalb County. This after rumors started swirling that a teacher here had posted a video on YouTube disparaging students and mocking parents. The video was posted under a YouTube account using the teacher's name and photograph.
To hear that is heartbreaking.
Most parents expressed deep concerns after watching the video, but did not want to be identified on camera. We have chosen not to show the disturbing footage since it has not yet been authenticated.
I don't think it's appropriate for her to be working in a school environment around kids when she's supposed to be teaching them the right things to do in life.
The school principal sent this letter home to parents on Friday. It says, quote, "We are aware of a disturbing video that has recently surfaced on social media, purportedly featuring one of our teachers. The video contains abhorrent language and messaging that is deeply troubling to us and many within our school family and community." The letter goes on to say, in response to this situation, we are following our long-established protocols to address the matter appropriately. This includes district, school, and campus security administrators actively looking into the video to understand its basis and context thoroughly. Still, parents fear the video could have a lasting effect on their kids.
As a school, you should be encouraging kids to work hard and, to go to college. The teacher is telling the college is not for everybody.
Now, I've contacted a spokesperson with the DeKalb County School District to find out if one of their teachers did make these inappropriate comments on video. I have been told the district says at this time they have no additional updates. We'll continue to see what happens and stay on top of this one.
If I had some paperwork to show y'all about the investigation they did into all this AFW fuckery, I would show it to you, but it's literally nothing to show. They was just like, when do you want to return to work? It wasn't even no paperwork. It was not one stitch of paper that came out behind that dumb shit.
Anti-Afro Svengalis. Does that sound like no paperwork was generated? Does that sound like not a stitch of paperwork was generated? I'm going to talk about that, but before we do that, we're going to take a trip down Nightmare Lane. Not memory lane, Nightmare Lane. And let me see your handcuffs, who tried to pull the same shit with the same lies, and it didn't work. Stay tuned and I will return.
How do we stop the harassment? How do we stop the harassment? I'm asking for your help. I know y'all saying this. Pay her no mind. Give her no energy. I've had this happen to me before. It's happening again. I pay her no mind. She is still going to come after me and other people. Stargate is still getting videos made about her. Binary is still getting calls made to his job. Even if I stop, she's going to keep doing it. And then she's going to do it to other people. How do we stop the harassment? That's what I want to know. How do we stop the harassment? And those of you who are telling me they don't mind, you don't have your picture up on the goddamn YouTube. And they don't know your real name. We see Stargate face. We see Binary face. They see mine and Nikki. Do y'all not get that part? Come on now. I got 10 videos about myself in the last week and a half. Nikki has gotten like, what, 20 in the last week and a half? Beautiful Bernice got, what, 5 or 6? Glorian got 7? What? Binary got like, what, 3? And Max got like 2. Because she does a rotation. It's just that I'm frustrated. I wish you men like you, listen to us. Damn, please. Shit. Leave me alone.
Let me see your handcuffs. I won't say running around these YouTube streets, rolling around these YouTube streets, people having to run out of her way or they're going to get crushed, lying through her teeth about not getting fired for the bullshit she was doing. Let me see your handcuffs got fired. And she kept telling everybody, I didn't get in trouble. They like me on my job. She scrubbed her channel. She took down 300 videos. All of the videos that she was posting, harassing me, Rev G, friends and supporters, AFW, trying to steal AFW LLC, all of these things. And you heard the switcheroo, lying that I'm the one that's harassing everyone, but these exaggerations, switching things around after having sat for 6 months, close to 6 months, constantly posting videos, slandering, harassing, targeting, and being part of threatening behavior. That's what Let Me See Your Handcuffs was doing. She kept going on and on and on and on. I sat there and let her do all this, and then when I decided to start defending myself, this is her reaction. I barely even got started. And she's crying that she's a victim and mentioning all these other people are being victimized by me. Right. I'm going to actually address more of that in another video, but I wanted to take that trip down nightmare lane. Not memory lane, nightmare lane. Let Me See Your Handcuffs created her own damn nightmare, and she ended up getting fired from 2 jobs. Now you have Carrie here running the same type of game. Too dumb to realize what happened to Let Me See Your Handcuffs was going to happen to her. But she got fat and happy and thought that was actually reality. And she suffered the same fate. Let Me See Your Handcuffs got fired from 2 jobs. She got fired from the high school. She got fired from the community college and kept lying about it. Finally, she went ahead and confessed that she got fired. So now you have Carrie also rolling around too. They're just as big, especially when you talk about the arms. She rolls around as well, calling other people fat and talking about their physical characteristics. And she's continuing to try to tell people that she's basically the Black Twiggy. Let her go ahead and say it. She works extra hard trying to convince everyone that she's something that she's not. Well, if she can find somebody dumb enough to believe her, more power to her. But let's talk about what really matters. How she wants to tell you that things happened that really didn't happen. The challenge is trying to see if you will actually believe it. Whatever lie at any given day. Oh, I was on leave for 6 months. Now I'm on leave for a year. Oh, I have a master's degree. No, now I just have a bachelor's degree. Same old lines that Let Me See Your Handcuffs is running. Nothing ever happened. There wasn't a stitch of paperwork ever generated from all of those complaints that were filed against me. Not a stitch of paperwork was generated, yet she talked about how these 2 co-demons wrote letters of support for her after the complaints were filed. And the co-demons came up here crying and whining because they said she stabbed him in the back after they sent the letters. Well, how would letters be of any significance? How would letters help if there's no incident to attach them to? There's nothing that you can even associate the letters to. Because, like Let Me See Your Handcuffs stated, they all like me. I never got in trouble. Carrie says, all of my evaluations were outrageously perfect. Right. This is what she says. She has in her head this fantasy disposition about self that in no way meets up with reality. But nobody can stop anybody from lying about themselves. Go ahead and lie about yourself. Just like Let Me See Your Handcuffs lied about not getting fired. Now, what Garfield also did was come up with some bizarre scenario. Now, talk about bizarre. The only way that she can be convinced in her mind, her very limited range of thinking, let's make sure we got that confirmed, I would have had to have contacted, or my lawyer would have had to have contacted a specific person, I'm assuming an attorney, in order for there to be validity to the wheels turning. As far as the wheels turning on what is in place with Carrie who said there has to be a specific person who she identifies that has to be contacted and in the know. Says who? She is so incredibly ignorant and so limited in her knowledge. It's a celebration, because if that's what she thinks, let her think it. Who says there has to be a, quote, loss? Who says what type of action has to be taken? There are multiple avenues to address wrongdoing. Obviously, she's running scared after sitting around. I am not scared. They're not bothering me. And now the other bizarre scenario that made it my way with respect to Garfield is that I would have had to have contacted, or my lawyer would have had to have contacted, one specific person, I guess an attorney, that she has access to, in order for the wheels to be turning to make sure she's handled, that business is taken care of, that what needs to happen to her is going to happen. That's the only way it can happen, is that there had to be some contact with a certain person that she's picked out. That just goes to show, if her thinking was a 12th floor elevator, it wouldn't even get past the first floor. It would get stuck going to the second floor. It wouldn't even get to the second floor. Just because that's the limits of her thinking and her belief that she's hampered by options doesn't mean other people are hampered by options. Nobody has to rely on one specific identifiable person to get anything done. There are multiple ways to handle situations. They're not restricted to the limits of Carrie Ann's thinking or knowledge. There really isn't much to say because it's not an even match. Carrie spends her time on YouTube running after acceptance, running after praise, begging for love, getting beat down, getting disrespected, wasting time, wasting energy, creating more content that's going to continue to bury her deeper and deeper, that's going to come back to bite her in the ass. And what do? We do our research offline, we make our connections, we complete our documentation, and we file our complaints, and it's based on what I said, what it was, right from the start. And right from the start was when Carrie had opened her mouth and started leveling these false allegations against my friends, labeling them child molesters and child predators and all this other crap that she was doing. All the crap that she was doing that simply solidifies that Georgia issuing a teaching credential through this abomination was one of the worst mistakes they ever made. I said what was going to happen, and I said I wasn't going to stop until I achieved that goal. That's one of the goals that I have. I'm not going to jump on these panels and scream and holler and act a fool and create evidence that's going to bury me 45 feet deep. Carrie Ann is 100 feet deep, and she continues to dig herself in. I mean, it wouldn't even matter what the situation is. You're never going to see me doing anything like that. This is someone who is so far out of control. Go back and listen to the very beginning of this video. This is someone who thinks your thought process and your intelligence is so limited and so substandard that you would believe that Tucker High School is behind her, that they stood up for her, that they supported her, that they believed her, that all of the documentation that was sent on her was splice and dice, or any of it was splice and dice. That they love her, that they embrace her, that they accept her, and there's not a stitch of documentation behind what she did. This is what she's doing, coming online, trying to convince people this is what happened. You know how it's a lie? There's only one thing you need to consider when you think about what a lie she told you. It's a lie because she's not there. What other evidence do you need? She's not at Tucker High School. She got fired, just like Antonio Johnson got fired. Let me see your handcuffs, got fired. Let me see your handcuffs, tried to hold on. Kimberly Chandler tried to hold on, rolled around here, claiming she didn't get fired, and finally had to confess that she got fired from 2 jobs. That's what happens when you get on YouTube and you act the fool and think because you're around other black folks that they can convince those that you have targeted that they can go by some code that they never live by. They never accept. They'll never honor, that they don't give a damn about. I don't care about any code. You can shove the code up your ass. You step over the line with me, I'm going to find somebody to report you and I'm going to follow through with it. I don't do anonymous reports. I'm signing my name to everything that I file. Carrie Ann doesn't have the guts to file a lawsuit because she knows she has no legal standing. Any lawsuit she filed, it would be perjury because she would be lying. If she had a lawsuit, it would be a lawsuit with the school district who fired her. Or whatever fancy term you want to put on it, forced her to resign, pressured her to resign. She's gone and she's never going back. She continues to lie, but I can go back to that school anytime. Well, show us. Go to Tucker High School and clean out your desk. She's a liar. There's no desk at Tucker High School with Carrie Ann's name on it. She got fired long ago. Put whatever fancy bow you want to put on it that the union told you to say. You got fired, just like DJ Drama got fired, Antonio Johnson got fired, let me see your handcuffs got fired, and others got fired who haven't said anything about it. And you will continue to get fired as long as you have this documentation that you're continuing to create. And we never even put in like 1/3 of the documentation. It didn't even take 1/3 of the crap that Carrie Ann has been saying to get her ass canned, to get kicked out of that school. You were on the news. But she wants you to say, she wants you to think nothing happened. There's no paperwork. You heard what I heard. It was all made up. It was all splice and dice. All those agencies, all those entities, all those departments that were involved, it was splice and dice. There was no documentation. There was no paperwork. Believe whatever you want to believe. This much I will say. More is certainly coming your way. In the meantime, you know the drill. Buyer beware.